everybody, so this is my first YouTube video and I've gotten the question a lot: how did you become a flight attendant? Where do you apply? What is your life like? And I apologize for looking tired. I just got done with a flight, but I really wanted to put this information out there now because there are a lot of airlines hiring for the summer, since flying demand does increase during the summer since children are out of school and people take more vacations. Well, first I guess I should start off on why I wanted to become a flight attendant, and to put it simply, I just wanted to travel. I had a lot of customer service jobs in college and I'm not ready to do my master's yet, so I thought I would pursue this in the meantime. A normal day for me, I wake up at 9 o'clock because that is when I go on call, and crew support, which are just the people in charge of scheduling, can call me and tell me that I have to report to the airport within 2 hours, or I will put myself on first call. So as soon as a trip is available, they'll call me, and sometimes that allows me to know my schedule days ahead. Once I report to the airport, I check in and I have about 10 minutes to get to my plane, and then that's where it all begins. My days on the plane can last anywhere from as short as 4 hours of flying that day to as many as 10 or 12. It just depends. My duty day cannot exceed more than 16 hours. I haven't had a 16-hour day yet, but even the 12 days are pretty exhausting, so I can't imagine the 16-hour one. If I'm on a trip, the company will pay for my hotels on my overnights. I can have just one flight a day. I have had as many as 5 flights a day. It really just ranges on the company's need. I don't hold a line yet, and by that I mean I don't fly the same route every week. I am just on reserve and I'm on call, and it'll be like that for the first couple of months, maybe the first couple of years, I don't know, but I do make enough money to sustain myself. So the big question, do I get to fly for free? Yes, I do. But I fly on standby, so if the flight is full, I am not getting on. Sometimes I'll just have to wait for the next flight, but I don't mind hanging around in airports. I really like airports. I'll just bring a book or I'll watch Netflix. You know, there's always something to do. My trips can be anywhere from 1 day and I'll come back home that day, or my trip can be up to 4 days long. Some companies' trips are 5 days long. You have a minimum rest that federally we are supposed to get. So don't worry, you do have time to sleep. The first couple of months you will be more exhausted than people that have been here for a couple years, just because flying does take a toll on your body. I do generally work out because staying healthy is vital to this job. You might be eating a lot of airport food, so it's easy to gain weight. So working out and eating right is essential to staying healthy so you don't call out and miss out on that money. I love this job though because every flight is different. You meet new passengers, you're talking to new people. Even though you're doing the same job duties, you're never bored, unless there's just downtime, but there's not much downtime. So where do you apply? Well, first I just simply Googled flight attendant positions, and Delta popped up, United popped up, Monster.com popped up, in Indeed. So those are the first 2 sources that I would say use, because even if Delta's hiring or JetBlue is hiring, more than likely it'll also be listed under Indeed and Monster, as well as their individual websites, but that way you just have it all in one place. On top of mainline jobs popping up, a lot of regional airlines will also post their hiring there, as well as corporate airlines. You might be wondering, what is the difference between corporate aviation and commercial? Well, corporate aviation are people that own private jets, and it can be a business or it can be an individual, and you'll be the flight attendant on their flight. Commercial aviation are the regular flights that you'll take at the airport to go to your vacation or to go back home, wherever it may be. I literally spent a whole day, it was about 10 hours, and I applied to 26 different flight attendant positions. Some were the same airline, just at different airports. Some were corporate, some were mainline, some were regional. So you may be wondering, what is the difference between regional airline and a mainline? So what we dictate as mainline are the bigger companies that fly internationally. Regional carriers normally stay within North America, well, at least the ones that I'm pertaining to. So for example, my company goes across the United States, but it also goes to Canada and Mexico, and it goes to the Bahamas as well. Now, we don't have an overnight in the Bahamas. I wish we did, but we do have overnights in Canada and in Mexico, which is awesome too. Another difference between mainline carriers and regional carriers, the regional planes are smaller. So the largest plane that my company has is a 76-seated plane that has 2 flight attendants. We also have a 50-passenger plane which only has 1 flight attendant, whereas the main lines generally have 4 flight attendants or more. So on your application, you really want to emphasize prior experiences that you have, safety jobs, as well as customer service. What is a flight attendant's job? Well, the priority of our job is safety, and we put the passenger safety above our own. During training, 98% of the training is on emergency procedures, federal regulations, very, very important stuff. We only had about 2 days of service training because safety is your #1 priority. I cannot emphasize that enough. Safety is your #1 priority. Now, a bonus to this job is that every flight is different. You're always going to have new passengers that come from new places, and you're going to be traveling to new places all the time, and it is awesome just to get to interact with people from all over the world. Customer service is a huge part of our job. It's not our priority, but it is what we do most of the flight. So any job where you interacted with people, if you speak another language, definitely highlight that, or somewhere where you often interacted with people from different places, highlight those experiences and talk about them in your cover letter. I did my cover letter after I did my resume because I took the experiences where I had the most knowledge and the most passion for and highlighted those in my cover letter. And in my interview, those were the points that I emphasized about myself. So for example, I said that I speak Spanish. I said that I have worked in a multicultural center. I was a resident advisor before. So I just highlighted all of those things. And also, not so much in your cover letter, but in your interview. And I'll make another video about interview tips next. You'll really want to highlight your personality, because another part of our job is making people comfortable with flying. Not everybody is comfortable with flying. You want to make them return to your airline. So highlight that you're empathetic, you're enthusiastic. After you apply, you normally get an email back saying that your application is being reviewed. After that, they will send you a link for a video interview. Every airline's interview process is different. So for the video interviews, you'll complete the video interview and then you will move on to an in-person interview. Some companies, you're going to automatically interview in person. For example, for my company, I had a group interview and then I had an individual interview, and then that was it. So like I said, every company is different. You just have to be prepared and do your research. I heard back from my company 2 weeks after my individual interview. Some companies may take longer. Please, please, please do not quit your job while you are in the interview process. Just because you get the job does not mean that you will go to training right away. For example, I was hired in September and I didn't attend training until January. So I used all of those months to save up money. Some companies will pay for your hotel during training, some will not. Some companies will pay you during training and some will not. So read, be prepared financially and mentally. As a new flight attendant, you don't get much time to go back home. Some people are lucky and they work where they live, but I was not so lucky. I moved across the country. So spend as much time with your loved ones as you can before you move as well. I hope that this video helped you a little bit in getting your process started on becoming a flight attendant. And stay tuned for my next video where I will have some interview tips. I would love to answer any questions that you have. Please feel free to comment below. Alright guys, I have to go to sleep now since I have to wake up early for my flight tomorrow. Good night, and don't forget to subscribe.